So, hey guys, I have another movie review for you today. It's called The Forbidden Kingdom, and it's a Rob Minkoff film. Rob Minkoff was most well known for directing The Lion King. Um, and this is one of the first films to unite both Jackie Chan and Jet Li. So there's Jackie Chan and there's Jet Li right there. So yeah, I think this is the first, if not one of the first, if not the only time that Jet Li and Jackie Chan worked on a film together. Um, and I remember that being a pretty big deal when this first came out. I guess it came out back in 2008, so I would have been roughly 18 years old when this film came out. I do remember that kind of being the big marketing pitch, I guess, behind this movie. That was kind of the thing that was kind of getting people interested in seeing this film. And so, I heard about it for years, heard people talking about it for years, and then it wasn't until just recently where I finally got around to actually seeing it myself. And it's kind of a mixed bag of emotions for me. And I guess I'll go into detail here after I give you the synopsis of The Forbidden Kingdom. So, in The Forbidden Kingdom, you guys, it basically is about a kung fu fanatic who's played by Michael Angarano. For those who don't know who he is, he basically was the lead star of Sky High. For those who remember that movie, I think so. I think that one was made probably a couple years earlier than this one. But he's this kung fu fanatic. He always goes to this pawn shop where they have like old Chinese martial art films and things of this nature. And so he's kind of the perfect choice, I guess, in a way to eventually meet up with these two ancient China martial artists that we later meet up with. So basically, he gets this opportunity to see this giant, like, magical staff that this pawn shop owner has, and he tells the boy that this guy was always meant to come back to this shop to go and get this staff back from him, but he never came back for it. Series of events happen, and somehow, some way, this boy and the staff get teleported into ancient China, where he basically gets this boy gets this opportunity to give this staff to the right person. And you'll find out right away in the film, and this isn't a spoiler because you do find this out basically very soon after this kid reaches ancient China, that basically there is a guy known as the Monkey King, played by Jet Li, but Jet Li also has an additional role in this movie. And basically, he was imprisoned. He was kind of um, forced into like this stone-like shape for several centuries, and this emperor kind of left him like that during this big fight. And basically, getting this magical staff to the Monkey King, and to this person that this old man wanted this boy to give this staff to. This will set the Monkey King free and kind of set freedom and balance back to this kingdom within ancient China. And also along the way, this boy meets up with a kind of a drunk martial art mentor played by Jackie Chan. The old man from earlier who owned the pawn shop, also, that was also played by Jackie Chan, I believe, with a ton of makeup on him, obviously. And then Jet Li plays this guy who kind of wants the staff for his own purposes, but he's able to team up with this boy and the Jackie Chan character to kind of go through with this whole Monkey King thing. And the Monkey King himself is also played by Jet Li. So both Jackie Chan and Jet Li both got to play two roles in this film. So I thought that was pretty cool how they worked that in there. So overall, guys, I thought The Forbidden Kingdom was an okay film. I think it's a great looking production. I think it was cool that Jackie Chan and Jet Li finally got to work on this big blockbuster martial art film together for once. But there was a couple things along the way, specifically with the fantasy elements, that don't completely work for me, unfortunately. So for my positives and negatives of the Forbidden Kingdom, once again, it's great to see Jackie Chan and Jet Li unite for a martial art film. That was definitely the big, not only the great marketing pitch of this film, it was just kind of the great meat, um, that we all kind of wanted to go and get. The big meat in the market, I guess you could say, is the fact that Jet Li and Jackie Chan are both in this big martial art film together. It was pretty cool to see that. This is also a really good looking production, specifically when the film goes to ancient China. Just some really great looking sets, just a ton of things that really make this film feel like you're going on this giant adventure with these characters. Just beautiful flowers, beautiful forests, beautiful caverns, beautiful temples. Just several sets that they go to in this film that really look spectacular. Um, there's even times in this film too where you almost have to remind yourself that you're not in this, that this really isn't a place you go to. This is, this is a set that was built in a place, and it was just really unbelievable how they were able to make these really cool looking sets for this movie. Also, there was some great fighting choreography in this film. I think one big factor of that could have possibly been too that Jackie Chan and Jet Li could have possibly done their own fighting choreography themselves in this. Possibly, I'm not 100% certain on that, but whoever decided, for the most part, of how the fighting choreography was going to be handled in this film, it really had some great fighting choreography here. Um, whenever Jet Li or Jackie Chan were fighting each other or they were fighting someone else on the screen, really great fighting choreography once again. Just how they handled it, I thought was very well done in this movie. Jackie Chan's character, specifically this drunk martial art mentor, gets a ton of one-liners in this film, and I laughed at each and every one of them. So Jackie Chan's character gets a ton of goofy one-liners, specifically the drunk mentor, but they all work. They're all very funny. They're all very fitting for the situation that's currently happening, and it was just a great time. Also, once again, I briefly covered this earlier, but I do think the film really does feel adventurous. It really does feel like we're going on this adventure with this kid and with the Jackie Chan and Jet Li and this girl that has her own reasoning behind this magical staff and things like that and why she's there. But we really feel like there is an adventure here, and that really is quite something to say because all these sets that had to be built, and they had to get these two big megastars onto this movie, and there's just a bunch of whole things to appreciate about it, and it does really feel adventurous. And I'm really glad that the film really has that vibe and feeling to it. And speaking of vibe, I like how the film does kind of maintain both Enter the Dragon and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and it combines them into one. And I really think both those films were the right kind of inspiration for this film as far as the martial arts go and how the story should feel like. So like I said, I like how Enter the Dragon and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon were combined into one as a hybrid in a way for this movie. Unfortunately, for my negatives of the Forbidden Kingdom, since once again, like I said, it's not a perfect film by any means. But I do think the negative is I think it has a pretty weak fantasy element. Whenever like characters are using magic or special powers or being able to jump in really high places and things like that. I understand that that was definitely in the vein of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but on the parts where because there's definitely fights here where it's just martial arts, and there's fights where there's martial arts and magic powers. I think the magic powers part could have been left out of this movie, to be honest. I really think if it just was a straight up martial art picture like we see in several scenes in this movie, I think it would have been better off. I really think the fantasy element really didn't work here, and when they tried to do it, it didn't feel right, and it just didn't quite feel as strong as it needed to be if they did want to have that element throw in there. There are also some pretty bad green screen effects here, specifically where we see the Monkey King in action and things like that. It was great to see that character in action, but unfortunately, he's used in a lot of scenes where the green screen effects really don't feel up to par as they should be. Those scenes really kind of take you out of the movie for a second because they do feel like they're filmed in like a studio backlot somewhere, and it just really doesn't feel right. Um, so I really didn't care for the green screen effects in this film. Loved the environments, loved the martial art choreography and things of that nature, but unfortunately the green screen effects weren't quite up to par. There's also a very pointless villainous lady character in this film. She has white hair. We see her periodically throughout the movie. No point for the character at all. She's basically there just to make more conflict in the story, just so the journey is a lot harder on these characters. That the magical staff doesn't get to the place where it needs to be quicker. Once again, she just really there's no point for this character to be in this movie. There's so many other villainous things that they face in this movie. Every time this character showed up, it just felt like another pointless villainous character that they just had to fight before the movie ended. And once again, the fantasy element doesn't work with her either because she likes to use her hair as a whip. And once again, they didn't need the fantasy element in this film. I really think they could have just dropped that out and made this a straight up martial art picture because that's when the film really is successful when it can do that. There's also some character development cheats here. The Michael Angarano character. Um, he's learning martial arts as he's in ancient China. He only has like one or two lessons from Jackie Chan and Jet Li, and all of a sudden he can fight along them later in the movie, and it really does feel cheap and cheesy after a while. Um, and I won't give into too much spoilers, but in fact, I won't go into any spoilers. But basically, there is a part specifically near the end of the film that really does feel cheap and cheesy. And once again, I think there were some character development cheats that they could have built up for in the script somewhere better. So overall, guys, I am going to give The Forbidden Kingdom a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a great looking production. It was great to see Jackie Chan and Jet Li in a film together. Great fighting choreography, great one-liners. I love the vibe of this film. I love the adventurous vibe of this film. Um, and I love, once again, the fighting choreography as well and things like that. And then I love the sets. But that fantasy element does feel pretty weak here. There is some pretty bad green screen effects from time to time. I really didn't feel like that white haired villainous character needed to be in this film. She was just kind of a waste of time. And once again, there was some character development cheats every here and there that just really felt like it was just kind of forced into the script at the last minute, and it kind of messed everything up as a result. But I think it's a good film to watch. I think it's a good film to at least watch the fighting choreography for, specifically whenever Jackie Chan and Jet Li are on the screen, and when they're fighting each other too. That scene was really well filmed. Um, I think, like I said, I think it's a good film to watch. I don't know if it's a film I would want to watch several more times, though. I don't think it quite has that value. Um, so, if you like martial art films, if you like Jackie Chan or Jet Li, I would definitely at least check out The Forbidden Kingdom. But at the same time, if you have to spend a lot of money just to watch it, don't worry about it. I would definitely wait till like when I got it because I got this copy of the film for about $4. That seems pretty reasonable for a film like this, where you'll watch it, you'll like it, but at the same time, you really can't see yourself watching it 10 or 11 more times later in your life. So, um, Forbidden Kingdom, an okay film. If you know who you are, if you like this kind of stuff, it might be worth a view. If you're not really big into martial art films, I don't think you have to worry about this one. I don't think this film will do like what Enter the Dragon did and get you into this genre more. But um, I guess it's kind of a give or take opinion on this one, I guess. But for me, it's a 7.5 out of 10.